Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thanks for tuning in to another podcast about complaining about children. Me and Bridget were just outside and we were talking about, hey, every time we podcast, it seems like all we do is complain about our children. But she brought up a valid point. We're in a season where we have a 7-year-old and, an 18-month-old. And it is very difficult between our 7-year-old's deep-seated emotions and our 18-month-old trying to kill himself at every turn.
Whew, and he's teething. I don't know if it's molars or what, but he's got 2 coming through right now. And holy moly.
I don't even feel like I recognize the child. I'm just like, you know what?
Who are you?
This sounds horrible, but sometimes I just want to, punt him. like a football.
He is... Talk about the fireplace. He's beyond curious. So we're building a fireplace in our living room, and it's going to be an electric insert because it's Arizona. We don't need fireplaces in Arizona, in the valley where we live, because it's fucking hot as shit. But so we just finished all the drywall, and we got it taped and mudded, and we were on our final coat of mud, skim, sand, etc. And what did he do?
He literally went and pulled one of my tape joints off.
He found the very end of it, a little tiny piece of it that, was at the very end where the baseboard is going, so we didn't mud down there.
Yeah.
And he ripped it 3 feet up the wall.
Yep.
And you just looked at him, and you, walked out of the room into the kitchen and just screamed, just yelled. I
was very, very frustrated. It wasn't one of my best moments, put it that way.
But you did the thing, you walked out of the room.
Yeah. I didn't have a choice. I had to. I was just so livid.
Yeah. It's just when, we talk about trying to figure out how to, laugh it off when kids do stuff like that and not get, super, upset in the moment.
And emotional. But
it's tough.
We give Enzo a hard time because he's emotional, but have you seen me walking around this house? I wonder where he gets it from. It's been very, very challenging because we are very... we're calm people, but our day-to-days are very hectic, chaotic, just like everybody else. We're busy, and we've got, companies we work for, and then we've got businesses we're trying to run of our own, and, at night is even more of a clusterfuck, and, trying to get kids showered and schoolwork done, and lunch is packed, and everybody, dinner made, everybody, I'm preaching to the choir here. I get it. I don't expect sympathy or anything like that, but it is exhausting. It makes me, I don't have a great relationship with my parents, but it makes me very understanding of what I put them through. Yeah. And why it was so hard. Because it's extremely tiring. Mm-hmm. And you get to your limits, and both of us are just fried. You're growing another baby, and you're exhausted all the time. And it was, what was it the other day? What was it, over the weekend? I was working. I said, hey, Saturday Enzo was at his dad's, and we just had Rhett. So we're like, hey, it's a good weekend for me to work on this fireplace. It's a pretty decent sized project. It takes some time, and so I said, hey, Saturday, I'm going to concentrate on this fireplace. And you were all for it, and you're like, hey, that's good. The morning started off strong. I got about 2 hours into it.
No, it was more than that.
Maybe 4 hours.
4.5.
4 hours into this project.
We have to set the scene a little bit. So the fireplace is in the living room, which is an open flow with the kitchen and the dining room, and where most of Red's hangout time is, because his toys are out here and stuff like that. But with you working on it, he can't be out here.
Right.
And so I had him in the much smaller playroom that doesn't have as many toys for him and isn't as baby proof, because that's more of Enzo's playroom. And then his bedroom for 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm up on ladders. We've got 10-foot ceilings in our house, so I'm up on ladders, and he's trying to climb up the back of the ladder, and we're both getting frustrated. You're tired, you're not feeling well, and finally, I think Bridget just had enough, and she just got up because she was tired. He had been complaining. He was just starting to teeth. It was the perfect storm for everybody.
I put him in his crib.
Yeah, she put him in his crib, and I saw her walk into our room and I heard her turn on our white noise in there. Mind you, it was probably 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock,
maybe.
Think, yeah.
This is not like her. This is not in her nature to fold and more or less just go hide in a room and go to sleep.
I don't nap.
She doesn't nap. So if
even pregnant, I don't nap.
No, she's not a napper. Like I don't think I could probably count on one hand how many times I've seen you nap in the last 5 years. And so she goes in and she
passed out.
She goes to sleep, and I'm just like, holy shit. Okay, and the baby's sitting in his crib screaming, not trying to go to sleep.
He was due for a nap. It wasn't like he had been up for enough hours. He was due for a nap.
But he just wouldn't go to sleep.
No.
He was too frustrated. So he's in there screaming, and I'm like, all right, so much, I'm not going to work on this project. She went in the room and took a nap. Like, this is not good. I need to focus on the child.
DEFCON 1.
So I went and got the baby, pulled him out of the crib, cleaned up all my tools, darkened the house a little bit, turned on a movie, and me and him just kind of hung out. But you had texted me, I think, and you said that I'm either going to take a nap or I took a nap or something like that, and I just had no...
I said I'm emotional and overly tired, like I just need to lay down.
Yeah, so I just said, you know what, I'm done for today. I'm not going to work on this. We're done. And I felt terrible, so the whole time she was in there napping, I was trying to figure out how to make her feel better. So around 2 o'clock, I text my nanny, or our nanny for the baby, and I was like, hey, something along the lines of, Bridget's extremely stressed out. Would you mind coming by for a couple hours tonight so I can... Or tomorrow, the following day, Sunday, or so I can take her out. So, when she was all for it. So she showed up. Well, you came out of the room first.
Yeah, I think I got up at like 3 from my nap.
Yeah, you came out of the room, and what did I say to you? I said, hey, at 4 o'clock, you need to go take a shower. At 5 o'clock, Susan, our nanny, is going to be here to watch Rhett, and we are leaving, and we are going to go get dinner, and we're going to go get Jeremiah's ices, and we're going to go for a drive. And I had already ordered groceries
for pickup.
Pickup, and I was just trying to make her life a little bit easier.
And I like you. The funniest part. So, we know this. In the last 3 months of pregnancy, I get really weepy. I cry a lot about things. Like good things that are lovey-dovey, movies, commercials. I think when I was pregnant with Rhett, remember I cried about the fact that I'm gonna have the mother-son dance with him one day. Yeah.
Mind you, he's 18 months old.
But when I was pregnant with him, I was crying about that. I'm gonna have a mother-son with him one day, dance at his wedding. You're like, oh my God. So I get, needless to say, I cry a lot in the last 3 months of pregnancy. My hormones just go wacko and I cry all the time. So I come out of the room and you're like, hey, at 4 p.m., I need you to go shower and get ready because then at 5 p.m., our nanny's showing up and I'm taking you out on a date. And I was like, what? Really?
She just started bawling.
Make me cry. And you looked at me and I was like,
this was supposed to make you feel better.
That's so sweet. I just feel so loved. And you were like, well, yeah, that's the point. I was like, you just planned it all and I didn't have to worry about planning anything. I'm like, you were probably just oh my God.
I couldn't tell if I was making it worse. I was trying to make it better, but I think I made it worse.
But so, in my non-crying voice, to explain what was going on is, I love planning things, right? Especially surprises, getting you a nice pair of sneakers today. You know, I surprised you. You mentioned it a couple times. You need some new sneakers, and they arrived in the mail today. I picked them out. You loved them. we talk about all the time, like some of the different stuff. Like we went on vacation to Bora Bora on like a super budget, and I told you we got like a garden view room, and then for Valentine's Day, like a month before we left for the trip, I like gave you the reservation, and it was the Overwater Bungalow. But for like the prior 6 months, I'd been telling you like, yeah, it was just out of the budget, but like it's okay because we still have a garden view, and it's gonna be awesome, and it's Bora Bora, and it's amazing, and like I just love planning things for you and like surprising you with things because it's absolutely one of my love languages to show how much I love and care about you. And I didn't realize that until probably you did this over the weekend. I didn't realize that that is a big way I receive love too. Like it makes me feel very loved to have you be like, I already got all this shit planned out. Here's the agenda. This is what we're doing. Here you go. Because like it's nice to be like, hey, do you want to go on a date tonight? Yeah, okay, let me see if the babysitter's available. Okay, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Etc. Like, that's nice. I enjoy that, but...
No, I actually attempted to make reservations.
Yeah, but to have you plan it all and just be like, here's the end result, which is what I love to do for you, and like plan stuff and, you know, have like surprises within surprises.
And you got to get all dressed up and done up and looking really good, and you got to have sushi.
I know.
Amazing sushi.
Cooked fish, because the options are limited for pregnant women, but you know.
You got some Jeremiah's. We went for a drive.
Jeremiah's is like Italian ice. If you're an East Coaster, it's similar to like a Rita's Italian ice. Like it's real. It's like an icy on steroids. It's so good.
Got to do that. And got to go get groceries, and it was a nice night, I think.
It was.
For a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah, but I realized that like that is what made me so emotional is I don't have people in my life previously that have been like, let me plan out all these things and then just be like, ta-da, here's the agenda.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's a big thing that I do. You know, I'm your surprise birthday trip to Chicago. Mm-hmm. When you looked at me like, why am I going to Chicago in January?
In shorts.
In shorts, because you're cray-cray. But like surprising you with that, like, hey, it's your birthday and we're leaving tomorrow to go to Chicago for the weekend, and here's our hotel reservation, and we're gonna like have fun and walk around and check out some restaurants and bars and stuff like that. And then while we're there, like on Saturday of that weekend, surprise you with like, oh hey, like we're actually going to see your favorite musician in concert tonight.
Yep.
But like all planned out with the ta-da, here's the agenda. And I realized like I don't have people that do that for me in my life. And so when you do that for me, like it just completely like overflows my love tank. Like I feel so immensely like loved and just cared for. And
I kind of think we both needed it to get through this week. It's only Tuesday.
Oh my God.
And, you know, we've just been, you know, we tried to go swimming. I tried to take Enzo swimming today after school to try and be nice after homework and stuff like that before dinner.
Yeah, give him something to do.
Yeah, it gives him something to do, and he enjoys doing it. But he likes to play these games with us or with me, and the issue is he's at that age where he has to win. He's a
sore fucking loser.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to lose a game, and I can be super competitive sometimes, so I get a little carried away. But
you never.
But you know, he just got very, very, very upset and emotional about it. And
like, come outside with Brett, and I'm hearing this whining, and I'm like, what the fuck am I hearing? I look over and it's Enzo, like, whining like a little brat, and I'm like, oh no. I like kind of looked at you like, you're allowing this to carry on like this? Like,
no, he was just sitting on the chair outside the pool pouting.
Yes, and then he was in the pool like, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you two? But then he got really upset because, like,
I was taunting him.
Yes, but that is how games work. Mm-hmm. He does it when he's winning. Mm-hmm. And so he got out of the pool.
Well, he pulls my chest hair and stuff like that. And
so he gets out of the pool and, like, walks over to me crying, and he's like, Cree's being really rude. And I was like, is he being rude? Or are you just mad you're losing the game? He's like, no, it has nothing to do with losing. I was like, well, you didn't feel like he was being rude when you were winning, and he was doing the same stuff. He was like, well, you know, and then he was just highly emotional.
So, needless to say, it was a tough one tonight for us both, because we're not highly, like I say, we're not highly emotional. I can my primary, unfortunately, my primary emotion is anger.
His is sadness.
His is sadness, and yours is I crying. And I don't know if it's happy tears or sad tears. But, so it's very difficult for me to relate to that. And I struggle to talk him through it because that's not typically where I'm at. I don't know.
I'm not great at that either.
It's very, very tough. That poor kid, he's
just like, there's some different parenting coaches that I follow on like Instagram, and they would be what you classify as a deep feeling kid.
Yes.
Like he deeply feels emotions.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad. Mm-hmm. You know, like he will have and does have an empathetic side that is way deeper than you or I can show.
Yeah.
And he loves very deeply. Mm-hmm. And he has the ability to like he talks now about this baby brother that's on the way and how much he loves him and his life with him, and like he just has this ability to like project and see and feel the emotions of the future in a way, kind of like, you know, what he's expecting and stuff like that. But with that also comes like it's a challenge of,
we feel like we're constantly walking on eggshells. Well, I do, at least. I don't know about you, but like I feel like I have to question anything, pretty much a lot of the things I do regarding him, because I'm wondering if I'm going to hurt his feelings.
And it's not just that, it's, you know, Enzo and I had a talk about it tonight with his emotions, because we tried you know, let's walk it out in the yard or run it out or jog it out, because I'd read that giving them a chance to just run some laps around the yard helps them kind of
calm down,
but also just gives them a chance, a healthy way to process through big feelings.
Yeah.
Well, that did not go over well.
No, that got even worse.
It escalated it worse. He was not a fan.
You told him to skip, and he pulled a muscle.
He did like 10 feet of skipping, and his side hurt, and that just escalated worse, because then he was emotional, and then he felt a twinge of pain, and everything.
Tried to stop breathing.
Everything got worse.
So
he went and took a shower, and I went and chatted with him while he was showering, and just kind of talked about, you know, he recently has decided that he enjoys doing meditating, and it helps make his mind strong. So we talked about how, you know, meditating makes your mind strong, but what we need to do is figure out how to help make your emotions strong. So it's okay to be upset, but you want to figure out, how do I feel my feelings and then let them go and move on, instead of just feeling really upset for a very long time.
Right.
I said, you know, it's not that we don't want acknowledging of the feelings, because we absolutely do. It's becoming stronger at managing those feelings. Yeah. So it's tough.
And then Rhett's on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. Like, he feels his feels when he's in pain,
or he's frustrated
because you can't get something to do something right. But man,
he gets so mad sometimes at things when he's trying to like line up like a toy to like, you know, get it all lined up correctly or something, to like, you know, put a block in a hole. And he'll be like, he yells because he hears people in the house when they're frustrated yell.
Yep.
And so he goes, ah! And like just throws it all on the ground. And I'm like, hey, do you need help? And he'll look at me and be like, help. I'm like, okay, we'll bring it over here. Let me help you.
Yeah.
And then he rushes over with the toy and throws it at, well, not throws it, but like places it on my lap and wants me to fix it.
I just don't understand the climbing. Like, where does he get that from? Is it just because he sees me go up and down ladders?
I think it's like you and I talked about. So he's climbing everything in the last week. Like if there's a way to make an object climbable, he has done it. Everything. Today he climbed the baby gate. Like, it has the tension bar across the center, and he just figured out how to climb and stand halfway up the gate balancing.
He climbs up our media.
Yeah, our media like console table, and he's just climbing everything right now.
Climbs the kitchen table. Mm-hmm. We literally, if you come into our house, our dining room tables are stacked on top of the table.
Dining room table chairs.
The dining room table chairs are stacked on top of the table.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's like a weird statement piece. It's art.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they, like, just barely touch the chandelier. And...
Yeah, I mean, we literally just had to stack them on top of the table.
Yeah, but it's so similar, I think, to when he kept sticking his leg through the gates and through his crib rails, and he was, like, obsessed with it.
I mean, he got attention from it.
I mean, he gets attention from climbing, but, like, we can't not. It's dangerous. Like, he could seriously injure himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it sucks because we're just like, oh, my God. But he's in this, like, fixation mode right now of fixated to climb things.
Yeah, I'm interested. We're supposed to be going out of town. I'm curious to see how we can contain him when we go out of town. That'll be fun because we're going to be somewhere else, not with baby gates and, all the comforts of home.
I already talked to my cousin. He was like, I'm going to put a baby gate. I'm going to get a baby gate for the top of the stairs and the bottom, because he has a 2-story house, and the bottom of the stairs. So if he's downstairs, he's not going up, and if he's upstairs, he's not going down. I was like, yeah, till he climbs over the baby gate. Falls down the stairs.
Yep.
We just have to watch him like a hawk.
Yeah. It's hard. He's so quick. He's like, have you ever seen the movie Chucky? That thing runs around the house. Like, that's what he reminds me of. His run is so funny. Just bolts. You can hear his little feet.
Yeah. You know what he gets so excited about, though? Anything Enzo's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Enzo doesn't want to give him the time of day.
He does sometimes, but he gets so excited. Like, when Enzo gets home from school, he, like, runs up to, like, almost give him a hug, but doesn't give him a hug, just looks at him with, like, a shit-eating grin, and then, like, starts running around, circles around Enzo, until Enzo will finally engage and play with him.
Yep.
Or, like, if Enzo's sitting somewhere, he'll want to go over there and see what he's doing, and... Are you pouring? Just pour your water in.
Sorry. Thirsty. It's this Dust Bowl in Arizona.
It is a Dust Bowl. But it should be interesting, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. You were saying today you feel bad for our nanny. Because all you hear is no.
Constantly. So she likes to, when they're back in his room, he's got a monitor on the wall that we listen to. She brings the monitor out and sets it on the counter.
With the volume all the way up?
With the volume all the way up. And I'm working in the office next door, and I constantly just hear, no, Rhett, no, let's not do that, Rhett. No, don't do that, Rhett. No. And I'm like, just sitting there like, oh my God, she's going to quit.
Thank God. Like, I talked with her about it after we got home from our date, and she was like, honestly, it's just the phase, and like he's actually not as bad as some other kids his age. And I'm like, really? Because we're like, oh my God.
I'm losing it, and I'm like struggling with this right now. I don't know. I don't know how people do it. We were talking about it. We were talking about that earlier too. We've got another one on the way. Like, we're gonna have, like you said, it really was an eye opener when you said we're gonna have 2 kids under 2, and I'm like, oh my God, like,
oh God, what have we done?
I'm like, I don't know. Is this a good idea? Is it too late?
90 days and counting.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll just keep pushing forward, I guess.
It's where it comes into play about, like, what I was saying earlier, like, we have to learn to just laugh stuff off, and when you have 2 under 2, you have to just be like, you know what? It's going to be a wild ride for the season, the next couple of years, and then
hopefully it'll die down.
It'll change.
Then, well, the thing is though, the seasons change as far as they go through these different phases. Like, Enzo's at a phase where, I don't know what kind of phase he's in. He's in a phase where he can be self-sufficient, but
requires validation or check-ins.
Yes.
But like, I look at, there's so many people I know with like kids in his class that are his age that they would never go and do their homework.
Yeah, like, which he does
on their own,
and he gets A's and everything.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but they would never. And what was it today? We asked how math is, and he was like, because he's doing 3rd grade math in 2nd grade, and he was like, it's challenging me. I was like, hey, that's good. He's like, yeah, finally something at the school is challenging. I was like, you're so savage.
And it's not like he's in, like, some remedial school. He's at a
accelerated
school.
But it's interesting because the math is challenging, and it would be very easy for him to just be like, yeah, I'm not doing this without you holding my hand through it all.
Yeah, but he does it on his own. I mean, he makes mistakes, but we correct him, and he does.
We talk about it, and we figure out the homework together.
I'm sure Rhett won't be like that. We'll be talking about Rhett when he's 7 years old, and we're going to have to hold his hand through the whole thing.
Probably. Red is so curious, man.
I've had to put locks on everything.
Yeah.
He liked to, what was it, over the weekend, he literally opened up the trash can and started eating trash out of the trash bin.
Like food.
Yeah, food out of the trash bin.
Silly child. You thought the other day, you thought he ate a magnet the other day, which would have been terrible.
That would have been horrible.
But you're like, tell the story of what happened.
Well, so his baby changing station, we have like one of those thermometer, or it's a thermostat.
Yeah.
For the air conditioning unit in the house. It's basically just a sensor.
It's just a room sensor.
Yeah, it's a room sensor, but it has like, it's on a magnetic piece that comes off. It's small.
Thank you, Ecobee.
Yeah, it's small, and every time I go up to the changing station, he grabs it off the shelf that's right there above it. And now that I'm saying this, why the fuck would we just move it? I don't know. But anyway, he grabs it and he plays with it because it's magnetic. So he likes to pull the magnet off and then he shoots it back.
He's not a great diaper changing baby. Like, he needs a distraction.
Yep, you got to give him something to play with. Otherwise, he wrestles with you and it's exhausting. So I'm changing his diaper. He's got this thing and I wasn't really paying attention. And he did like a roll and... trying to get his diaper on, and I get him up, and I'm finishing, and I get him up, and I'm like, wait, where'd this magnet go? I got the other piece, but I don't have the magnet. And he gets down and looks behind the...
No, he gets down on the floor and looks under.
Yeah, he gets down on the floor and starts looking under his baby changing, and I'm like, oh, it must be down here. So me and him are both on the floor, laying on our bellies, looking underneath this baby changing station, trying to figure out where this thing went, and I'm like, looking. Bridget comes walking in, and she's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Like, everything okay?
And so we're looking.
You're like, the baby ate a magnet. I'm like, what? You're like, he fucking swallowed it. He had to have. It's not anywhere on the floor. I don't know. He had to swallow it, Bridget. I'm like, oh my God.
So we get him out to the kitchen.
He's like walking out to the kitchen.
He's walking out to the kitchen, and Bridget's like, Crete. It's literally in his fucking diaper.
Like, it's in his onesie, not even in his diaper. It's in his onesie between his, like, back and the, like, onesie material.
And it's, like, pushing out.
Like a little tail?
Like a little tail. And he's like, he turns around, and I'm like, oh. And I guess he didn't eat the magnet. Like, whoo!
He's so funny, though, because he will, like, get down and, like, look under things from time to time, and you're like, wait, what's under there? Now I'm curious.
Yeah, what do you got back there?
What are you looking at? What are you hiding?
So... Just the heart attacks, just everything. Like I didn't have to really go through this with Enzo, because he wasn't young enough. Because like even his life at what, 2.5, 2?
Yeah, 2.5-ish.
I mean, he still had his moments, but
it wasn't
wasn't like this.
Remember going downstairs outside of the apartment? That was the heart attack.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But man, like it's just a whole different world when you have to go start to finish with this and. It drains you. It's exhausting. Like, what did you tell me? It's a roller coaster of emotions. You're up, you're down. You're up, you're down. You're up, you're down. And
it's the extreme of all.
And I just don't know how to balance out. Like, I can't figure out how to balance it all. And it's work in progress. And we're bringing another one in 3 months.
Hey, good news. Friends of mine, their baby takes their diaper off and spreads shit all over the crib.
Well, that's promising.
So, we're not there.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be there.
Although, what was it? I took Red Holden swimming, and he has swim diapers. So I took him in the pool, and he does good for about 4.5 minutes before he starts freaking. Not freaking out, just wailing out, and he wants. He thinks he's fucking Michael Phelps, and he can swim, and no, he can't.
He like throws himself trying to get out of your arms, but he hates his floaties. He won't do it.
So I get out, and I'm trying to dry off. I get him inside the house. And
he's running around in his swim diaper.
Yeah, he's running around in his swim diaper. He takes off because I'm trying to change and do everything, and you're floating in the pool, and I hear sloshing, like water sloshing sound, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And he runs around the couch, and it's in his diaper, and I'm like, oh man, like he peed his pants, like for sure. And you told me that they're not meant to hold pee.
No.
Just poop.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it didn't pour right out, because normally as soon as they pee, it just pours right out of the diaper, because it's only meant to really catch poop.
Yeah. So the dude is running around the house.
It's sloshing.
It's sloshing, and he pulls off the fucking diaper, and it goes everywhere. Everywhere. It's all over the freaking place. And by this time, I think I yelled something.
Shit.
I was like, shit, really loud, and you're out in the pool.
With the waterfall on.
With the waterfall on in the pool, and you come in and you're like, everything okay?
You said you're going to give me some time to like have some solo float time, but like, do you need me to like tap out with this? You're like, I'm fine. I'm like, you sure? You're like, go float, I got it. I'm like, are you resentful? You're like, no. Okay, if you say so. I think it lasted like 10 more minutes. And I was like, I can't do it. I'm going inside.
So,
you're like, he just threw a pee diaper everywhere. I was like, I mean, good news. You didn't pick him up and then get it all over you.
Right. I'm just like, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But.
Oh, and he shocked himself.
He shocked himself. I was sitting at my island with my phone plugged into a charger.
That's down
and,
on the low side of the island.
Yep. And he tried to pull it out partway. It was still plugged in, and he must have like wet his fingers because he likes to stick his fingers in his mouth. And he touched it, and it zapped him, and he just 0 to 150, the world's ending in a matter of a second. So.
You're all, yeah, you just got shocked, didn't you? Great.
I think this is what it's all about. I think we're just supposed to kind of, run with these moments. And I'm sure a lot of the bad stuff we'll forget, and it's the good stuff that we'll remember.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping, at least.
Absolutely.
Because right now I feel like there's a little bit more bad than good.
How much do you remember of Enzo at 2.5?
I don't.
Exactly. Like, your brain just...
Shuts it out as a coping mechanism. It blacks all that shit out, all the trauma in your life.
You, talk about it, I think, from time to time, but remember, he used to wake up and scream for, 3 hours in the middle of the night?
Yeah, we couldn't get him to calm down.
Every night, he would just wake up with, night terrors and scream bloody murder for hours on end.
I mean, he still gets up at night, but...
Doesn't scream bloody murder.
No,
but
it's just growing pains.
We had that YouTube video that looked like the old, Windows screensaver of, the little, boxes going in and out of each other. Yep. And it was, calming music, and we put it on, and he would get mad. Mm-hmm. I know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
It was, but your brain is, very... You've put that in, distant memory.
Yeah. It's gone now.
Where you don't remember exactly how you felt in those moments.
One day we'll wake up and he'll be 7 years old and he'll be in 2nd grade and we'll be like, where did our little baby go?
I know.
And then you're going to want more. But by then, I'm going to take care of the problem.
Snip, snip.
Well, hey, we appreciate you listening and tuning in and listening to us rant and rave and complain and the highs, the lows, and trust me, there'll be more to come.
They're a cheaper version of therapy.
Yep, exactly. We appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.